On paper, being an attorney looks like a dream. Money, power, prestige. But I'm here to tell you the honest truth, the brutal honest truth, about why being an attorney actually kind of or completely sucks. I'm Candice Quinn, and after more than 20 years in the legal field, I've lived every side of it. From paralegal to law clerk to law firm to in-house, I have done it all. I built ContractHack because I was tired of watching capable, smart attorneys burn out and drop out of the profession over things that, quite frankly, are systemic problems that could be fixed if everyone cared to fix it. Attorneys are trying to work in a field where the school we have does not teach us. It's my way of helping attorneys work smarter, not harder, and level up their career to where they want it to be instead of where it might be stalled at. So today, I'm not just telling you why it sucks to be an attorney. I'm telling you why I think it sucks to be an attorney, or why I know from my own personal experience. First, law school does not teach practical skills. It teaches theory, and theory is not what is needed to succeed in practice. Sure, law schools offer all kinds of intensive programs. Mine offered both a litigation trial advocacy program and a transactional program, and I focused on the transactional program. It was a full year 2-course program, and during that time, the only thing I remember doing is drafting a will from a template for the whole time. So let's focus on what is important in a transactional deal. Is it how to negotiate an M&A transaction? Is it maybe the terms that are commercially reasonable in an M&A? Apparently not, according to my law school. It was about drafting a will. So obviously it was focused on a completely different type of lawyer than what I was hoping it was focused on. So let's talk about the mergers and acquisition class that I took. That was all just theory. There was no real life guidance or explanation on why each side of the transaction might focus on different issues, what those issues might be, or the commercially reasonable ways that these issues are typically resolved. It was all about the actual theory of the merger and acquisition. So again, not very helpful for that real life practical experience that you're hoping your education is giving you. And let's talk about my bankruptcy class. I was a paralegal in a bankruptcy law firm. I knew a lot about the subject. And I can tell you that professor was telling the class very wrong information. And yeah, I corrected him and we engaged in lots of good discussions. I even got distinguished performance on my transcript. But the distinguished performance designation did not give my career any lift and did not help me do the actual work necessary when I became the lawyer in the firm instead of the paralegal. Number 2, there is no formal training or apprenticeship for attorneys. Every other career path has some type of on-the-job training. Doctors, nurses, even hairstylists, they all learn side by side in an official formal training program. For attorneys, it's trial by fire. Let me tell you a story about what I experienced when I first started at the law firm. So I was working with a partner in his 70s, and he handed me a template for an escrow letter, and he wanted me to write the letter for a multi-million-dollar deal based on this one template that he had given me. And it wasn't even a template, it was just the complete letter from another deal. All of his files were in paper, so I couldn't easily find any other examples that he had personally prepared so that I could understand both the content and context of this assignment as well as his own personal style. So I worked really hard on it. I did some outside reading, I did lots of drafting, I did look at other examples of other partners' work, and I put together what I thought was a really good escrow letter. And I turned it in. A day or so later, he came to my office and he said, "What the F is this? Are you dumb?" Literally, like he cursed at me. And I'm like, no, I'm not dumb. I'm just new and I'm learning and I'm trying to do the best I can. Can you show me what I could do better? That is just an example of what new attorneys face all of the time. We are learning on the fly. We are working with people who may or may not want to give us the time to really train us. And it's really hard to find training on practical, everyday skills that attorneys should have and are honestly necessary to do the job well. This brings me to my next point, which is number 3. senior lawyers don't want to train new attorneys. First, any time spent training a new attorney is time that they cannot bill because it is not going to be billed out to a client. And that's, at the end of the day, that is every law firm attorney's focus. What can I bill to a client versus what can I not bill? And they cannot bill the time they train you. Second, if a partner or an experienced attorney will make more doing it themselves because they can bill it for themselves, then they will. Also, if it will take them less time to do it than to explain it to you, they will just do it themselves. That is exactly what I experienced. The partners in the firm I worked at, they hogged the work for themselves like it was treasure. When billable hours were slow, they were keeping it for themselves, justifying their own existence and not worried about mine. Meanwhile, I would sit in my office for hours with nothing to do. And work would go to the paralegal instead because they could bill her time at 100%, but they could not bill mine at 100%. And it would have to be written down for efficiency's sake, which would cut into the partner's efficiency rate and bonus potential. So of course the partner was incentivized to give paralegal level work to a paralegal rather than to an associate. And you might be thinking, why didn't I just go look for work from another group? Well, I would have loved to do that because my group kind of sucked. But partner politics comes into play more than I ever expected. And some of these partners, they did not like each other. So if I went looking for work elsewhere or tried to pick a favorite partner to work with, I would cause screaming matches between the attorneys. They would fight over me, but wouldn't give me work to do. It was quite frankly, odd. So there I sat as a young associate, eager to learn, eager to work, and I was basically twiddling my thumbs, just trying to train myself on things, but not doing any real work. My billable hours were miserably low, and I was bored out of my mind. And point number 4, society has really unrealistic expectations of attorneys. It's all about money, power, prestige. If someone hears you're an attorney, they think you're rich. They think that you have it made, that you have the best career. It's this doted career path that seems like it's an instant win, but it's anything but an instant win for most attorneys. I had 6 figures in debt, and I went to law school in the evening where I paid my living expenses myself during law school. I didn't make 6 figures in salary until 9 years into my career, which is kind of pathetic. And I also made more as a law clerk than I did as a law firm associate. Also kind of pathetic. Salary growth in law is not linear. It's anything but. It goes up and down, and you're lucky if you get even the most meager of raises. And bonuses, forget that for anything but the top law firms. Even in-house, I've had to jump jobs to get salary increases that are more than 3%. And forget a bonus, most don't offer it because that's a conflict of interest if an attorney gets a bonus based on sales. Yes, I've survived layoffs while I've been in-house, but I've had to do double the work for the same salary, taking on the work that the attorney that got laid off had. I've also gotten laid off in-house. So there's never a sure deal. You're never safe. Honestly, I often hide the fact that I'm an attorney. Between the dumb lawyer jokes and the reality not matching the societal expectations of being an attorney, it's often easier just to avoid saying what my job is. I'd rather people just not know. And finally, let's talk about billable hours, or if you're in-house, the cost center trap. So when you're an attorney in a law firm, your life is based around 6-minute increments of billing. And if you're not billing something, you literally have no value. So you better be billing, and you better be adding that on the timesheet. Here's a little bit of a gut punch for you. I brought in a client to the law firm. It was my aunt. And it got assigned to the partner I worked for. And when I asked why, I was told that associates can't own client relationships. Okay, so when I become a partner, if I become a partner here, I'll own it? Oh no, I was told, it'll always be owned by this partner because it originated when you were an associate and it won't convert to you owning it. What? It's my aunt. But when you're in-house, it's a completely other story. You are the department that costs money and does not bring money in. So you are a cost center. And while the business people may act nice and may love talking to you and say how great you are, at the end of the day, they talk about you behind your back and they call you the Department of No. N-O that is. The roadblock department. Even when you're saying yes to deals, even when you're finding ways to get it done, even when you're selling right alongside the salesperson, they will still tell you that you are the roadblock, that you are the reason the deal failed. You can work day and night and it will never be enough for the business person. And that's when I realized the system is pretty rigged. There's not a lot of room for attorneys coming in. You're really displacing other attorneys and they don't like that. They're going to hold on to their position as much as they can. Even if they say they like new attorneys coming in, they really don't. Being a lawyer often sucks. It sucks a lot. The system is broken, expectations are warped, and the support system just isn't there. But here's the twist. If you figure out how to hack the system and make your own path, you can succeed as a lawyer. It's just not going to look like the way you thought it might look. That's exactly why I started ContractHack. I want to share my knowledge and my career path with all the other attorneys out there that are struggling to make their way or figure out how to succeed in this career. So if this video hit home, whether you're a law student or a new or experienced attorney, definitely schedule a strategic discovery call with me. The link is in the description below. Also, go ahead and subscribe to this channel for more practical tips from ContractHack. Right now, ContractHack is offering 50% off memberships through October 31st. So definitely go ahead and sign up for a subscription if you're considering it. And don't just sit there and nod along with me. Definitely take action, because that is the number one thing that you can do to change your career. It is to take action instead of just thinking things through. Also, drop a comment below sharing your biggest lawyer frustration or lawyer horror story. I'd love to hear your experience, and it might just help someone else as well. Let's get real and let's start hacking your career together. See you the next time, hackers. Bye.